for the Ryan White Foundation for the Nebraska portion of that foundation. So, Galen, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here today, and I definitely want to thank you for the cardio exercise I'm getting about right now. My heart's doing at least 120. You know, it's never easy to open up to strangers. The most soul-searching, heart-rending thing you can do is try to tell somebody that you're positive. Well, today is World AIDS Day, and it's a day for us to remember the thousands and thousands of people that we've lost here in the United States. The 1.1 million, an unimaginable number in the world. You know, they were somebody's friend, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, mother, father, and they were all taken by the burglar, truly, that came in the night that we weren't prepared for. It's also a day to show compassion for those facing the challenges of being positive with HIV and still lead a good life. To see these people as real, someone not to stigmatize and belittle, but who deserves to be treated with dignity and understanding and respect. I find that it does help if you actually get to know somebody who's positive. As scary as it is, that's me today. You know how we all have great times and good times, bad times, so-so times, but that special day that you shouldn't, why did I get out of bed? Anybody have that today? Besides me? Well, I had that day clear back in 1985. I thought I was a guinea pig and just a control subject in a study the University of Iowa was doing. And on my last visit there, the doctor was so nice to me, came in and sat down and said, you know, you've got it, and if things go normal, you'll be dead in 2 months. As I was leaving, he said, oh, by the way, good luck in finding a doctor that'll treat you. Well, needless to say, my world crashed that day. And I still shudder when I think about everything I went through back then. I lost my business. I lost a 12-year relationship. I felt like I was the lowliest of low, a low-life person that there could possibly be. But going through the struggles back then and over the years, what I've learned to do is to look at the bright side that every event happens in my life, every time I'm challenged. And that's kind of where I came up with the title for my sermon, Winning Despite Losing. Everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through horrible times. But if you can find that bright spot each time, you can turn it into a win. For me back then, my win was my friends that didn't just disappear into the woodworks and helped keep me going. And a pastor that put me in a kind of a sneaky. Well, he was sneaky. That's all there was to it. And you all know how sneaky they can be. Yeah, you. Anyway, he asked me, here I am freaking out, yeah, but kind of getting on my feet, to go into a home, a black family home, that they had just found out their son was positive. Now picture me, this little bitty white boy, who's timid, going into a home with a very strong-willed black woman and trying to talk to her about HIV and AIDS and the rest of the family. I did it, and I told her the things that we kind of knew at the time, that, you know, you couldn't get it by being in the same room as someone. You couldn't get it from hugging them or accidentally drinking from the glass they had used. With this family at that point in time, they had put their son in a shed behind the house. They left his food and water on the doorstep and disposable utensils. They totally avoided him. They just were waiting for him to die. It took a lot of talking, but telling them these things that I had heard but had not internalized myself, that was the bright spot in my life. The pastor knew that. He knew that I'd say yes to him. He knew that I would go in and try to talk with his family and learn those things for myself. And also at the same time, start getting back some of my own self-respect and self-worth. So I'm really thankful for that yet today. Another thing I want to talk to you about, just to kind of give you ideas of how other people have bright spots, is when I was living in Denver, I ran into a couple of young men that had decided to go out for the evening, and for the fun of it, the first person that they caught alone, they were going to bash. I barely survived that. I should have, and I wouldn't have if it hadn't been for friends again. But you know, I could so easily dwell on what those guys took away from me at that time. You know, my memory is still in bits and pieces. I have no sense of time, so I'm never late or I'm never early. And I'm still struggling to play the piano again. But you know, actually, for me now, I just appreciate the memories all that more that come back. I've also learned to play the piano again for the Sunday service, and they don't complain too much, but it does help that we're talking church here, and forgiveness is part of the deal. Oh, and yeah, I still get to meet somebody for the first time ever so often, again and again and again. The one story that I do have to share with you is about a hospital stay back in Chagrin years ago. And they were seeing me as a disease, okay? They were totally afraid of me. The doctors would come in and the nurses, and they'd usually be gowned up and gloved, and they'd zip in and zip out so fast that I swear I'd feel the breeze every so often. I was in a very low point again. I was so afraid of being sick, kind of shunned. But you know what? There was one person that showed me compassion. She came in, regularly dressed, brought me stuff to read, sat and visited, and even gave me back rubs, barehanded. She was a big deal back then. She was the cleaning lady for the hospital. She was the only one that could make me feel human. Well, it's been 24 years now that I've went through all the struggles, and I could keep you here all day with more stories, but I'm not. It has been 38 years since the first reported cases of HIV in the United States. It is still here, but the dynamics have changed. People are not dying left and right. The medications we have are better than ever. There's less side effects. And the drugs can be combined into a single pill. So it's very easy for somebody to be able to stay on their regimen. People living with HIV can achieve a nearly normal lifespan. And that is something that's out there, but we still don't really see it, or they're saying that. And the more important thing that I want to bring today is that even the Center for Disease Control they state if an HIV person gets on meds, is consistent taking them, and maintains a non-detectable viral load, they cannot transmit it. I have believed that for many years because I have been in other relationships and my partner has never become positive. But it is so essential that they get checked, they get on the medications, and they stay with them. That's very easy to find out. A quick poke to the finger or blood draw in a few minutes or a few days, depending on which one you do. They know what's happening. What I see as being a long-time survivor today is hope and still sadness. We've made such great strides since 1990 when it was just a huge epidemic. The numbers have dropped in infections. But for some reason, things have kind of stalled. The rates are starting to rise again, and I hate to say this, but the 13 to 24-year-olds are leading the way today. And I truly feel that part of that reason is because the disease has been known now as a manageable disease. Manageable doesn't mean easy, but it is manageable. So people aren't paying attention since we're not dying as much, and it is manageable. The HIV education, it seems to be going by the wayside anymore. I just did a talk at UM, came to a class there, and out of all those students, there was only a couple that had heard of HIV and only one that could tell me how it was transmitted. That's scary. There's no reason for that in today's society. But again, we don't want to talk about it. We're not talking about it at home, at work, even here at church. I mean, we are today, but normally it's not. It should be a normal, everyday discussion. The biggest thing that I do see is we have to continue fighting the stigmatism that anybody that's HIV positive faces. It's totally devastating for them when they get their diagnosis yet. Their whole life is going to change. And unfortunately, it's from the people that I know, it's still easier for them to stay in the shadows. It is for me too, I can tell you that. I do these talks, but yet at the same time, I'm always on the edge. Do I really say this or not? It would be so much easier not to, but today I am. And that's why I kind of ask you guys as church members, you know, if somebody positive comes into your life, can you be that cleaning lady for them? If they come into your life, can you show them love and support and make them feel human again? The reading says, 2 men will be working on the farm. One will be taken away in judgment, the other left. Why I was the one left, I'll never know. I am so thankful that I was. I have a wonderful partner that I've been with going on 21 years this next spring. I have a daughter and a son, thanks to him. And I have 4 grandkids that now call me Grandpa. Yeah, admittedly, the 4-year-old is kind of like, but it's Grandpa to me. So, I really thank you guys for all having me here today. And I thank Reverend, what's his name? Thanks, Reverend Stephen. And I just wish all of you a very long, healthy, and happy as possible life, and Merry Christmas.